The tension is reaching an absolute boiling point, and we have so much incredible drama to unpack together. And let us dive straight into the thrilling mysteries unfolding right now. The sudden and terrifying deterioration of Bill's health has sent massive shockwaves through the entire hospital, and the deeply connected family dynamic completely upending every single carefully laid plan that Hayley had meticulously constructed. Bill's severe medical crisis was an unforeseen variable, a chaotic disruption that has forced everyone into a state of high alert and agonizing desperation. The sterile, brightly lit corridors of the hospital have become a battleground of raw emotions where the agonizing, rhythmic beep of the heart monitors serves as a constant, grueling reminder of the fragile line between life and death. For Hayley, this unexpected medical emergency is a monumental disaster, derailing her sinister machinations and forcing her to scramble in the shadows to regain control of a narrative that is rapidly slipping through her desperate fingers. In the face of this devastating tragedy, an unbreakable alliance has forged itself in the crucible of absolute necessity. Chelsea, Kat, Naomi, and Jacob have banded together with an inspiring, fierce determination, forming an impenetrable wall of protection around the highly vulnerable patriarch. They are pooling every ounce of their emotional strength, financial resources, and collective intellect, operating on a grueling dual mission that leaves absolutely no room for error or hesitation. On one front, they are desperately consulting with top-tier medical specialists, scouring every possible avenue to find the most effective and innovative treatment to save Bill's life. On the other front, they are functioning as a relentless investigative unit, fully committed to unearthing the dark, undeniable evidence needed to expose Hayley's true, malicious nature and permanently remove her toxic presence from their shattered lives. The investigative momentum has recently experienced a massive, game-changing surge thanks to Chelsea's relentless pursuit of the truth. Operating with the stealth and precision of a seasoned private detective, Chelsea recently managed to extract highly sensitive, incredibly revealing information about Hayley directly from Caroline. This crucial intelligence gathering was no small feat. It required Chelsea to navigate a complex web of past grievances and hidden secrets, carefully peeling back the layers of deception that Hayley has so expertly woven over the years. The information procured from Caroline serves as a damning puzzle piece, illuminating the dark corners of Hayley's history and providing the Alliance with a terrifying glimpse into the true depths of her manipulative capabilities. Armed with this explosive new intelligence, Chelsea wasted absolutely no time in seeking out Kat to share the horrifying revelations. In a hushed, tension-filled conversation tucked away in a secluded, dimly lit corner of the hospital, far from prying eyes and listening ears, Chelsea briefed Kat on the latest developments regarding Hayley's suspicious activities and her unsettling reaction to Bill's sudden hospitalization. Chelsea detailed every single nuance of Hayley's recent movements, outlining her clandestine plans, her erratic behavior, and the chilling state of her mind following the collapse of her primary schemes. This clandestine exchange of information has acted as a powerful catalyst, effectively arming Kat with the necessary context to escalate her own covert investigation into the woman who has infiltrated their family. For Kat, this newly acquired knowledge has utterly obliterated any lingering shreds of doubt she might have harbored regarding Hayley's true intentions. The carefully constructed facade of the friendly, caring, and deeply concerned family member that Hayley has projected to the world has completely crumbled in Kat's eyes, replaced by the terrifying visage of a cold, calculating predator. Kat is no longer susceptible to Hayley's charming smiles, her feigned sympathy, or her manipulative words of comfort. Instead, a profound, chilling realization has settled deep within Kat's bones. The woman standing by Bill's bedside is not a grieving loved one, but a highly dangerous adversary who poses a lethal threat to everything and everyone Kat holds dear. Driven by a fierce, protective instinct, Kat has begun to actively challenge Hayley, her natural skepticism manifesting in a series of pointed questions and intense, unwavering scrutiny. Every interaction between the two women is now laced with a heavy, suffocating tension as Kat subtly interrogates Hayley under the guise of casual, everyday conversation. However, this aggressive approach is fraught with immense, life-threatening danger. Kat's relentless probing and sharp inquiries risk tipping her hand, potentially signaling to Hayley that her darkest secrets are on the verge of being dragged into the unforgiving light of day. If Kat pushes too hard or digs too deep into the murky waters of Hayley's past, she inadvertently risks painting a massive, glowing target on her own back. The stakes of this silent war reached an absolutely terrifying crescendo when Kat's meticulous, agonizingly thorough investigation finally yielded a piece of evidence that made her blood run completely cold. While exhaustively reviewing the timeline of events surrounding Bill's tragic collapse, poring over every single medical record, witness statement, and casual remark, Kat stumbled upon a glaring, undeniable discrepancy. It was a subtle inconsistency, a tiny crack in the seemingly flawless armor of Hayley's alibi, but to Kat's trained and highly suspicious eye, it was as loud as a blaring siren. A specific detail regarding Hayley's exact whereabouts and her sworn testimony simply did not align with the established, verifiable facts of that fateful day. Initially, Kat tried to rationalize this terrifying discovery, desperately hoping that it was merely a harmless misunderstanding, a clerical error, or a simple trick of a highly stressed memory. However, as she meticulously cross-referenced the timelines and dug deeper into the contextual evidence, the horrifying truth became entirely impossible to ignore. This was no accidental slip of the tongue. It was a deliberate, calculated fabrication designed to conceal a far more sinister reality. This glaring contradiction directly connected to a highly sensitive, critical event that Hayley had consistently and aggressively avoided discussing. It was the absolute smoking gun Kat had been desperately searching for, definitive proof of Hayley's profound deception and potential involvement in Bill's tragic downfall. Recognizing the explosive, volatile nature of the evidence she now possessed, Kat made a highly strategic, incredibly dangerous decision. She would not immediately confront Hayley. Instead, she chose to keep this chilling discovery a closely guarded secret, locking the information away in her mind while she continued to operate in the shadows. Kat understood that springing the trap too early, before she had gathered an insurmountable mountain of corroborating evidence, would only give Hayley the opportunity to spin a new web of lies or, worse, destroy the proof entirely. Kat resolved to maintain her composure, playing a terrifying game of psychological chess as she bided her time and systematically hunted for the remaining pieces of the puzzle. However, maintaining a perfect poker face in the presence of a master manipulator is an incredibly difficult feat, and Kat's subtle behavioral shifts did not go unnoticed by her adversary. Hayley, possessing the hyper-vigilant instincts of a cornered predator, almost immediately sensed the distinct, chilling change in Kat's demeanor. The warmth had vanished from Kat's eyes, replaced by a guarded, calculating coldness. Alarm bells began to ring loudly in Hayley's mind, prompting her to launch her own covert counter-investigation. Operating with deceptive casualness, Hayley began to subtly interrogate the other family members, weaving seemingly innocent questions into her conversations with Naomi and Jacob, desperately trying to gauge exactly how much Kat knew and whether she had managed to secure any tangible, damning evidence. Realizing that she needed to quickly neutralize the threat Kat posed, Hayley initiated a calculated, deeply manipulative charm offensive. She actively sought Kat out, approaching her with a sickeningly sweet, overly friendly demeanor, desperately attempting to lull Kat into a false sense of security and disarm her mounting suspicions. Hayley deployed every manipulative tactic in her extensive arsenal, offering fake sympathy, feigning vulnerability, and attempting to forge a superficial bond of shared grief over Bill's critical condition. It was a masterful, sickening performance, a desperate bid to convince Kat that they were on the exact same side and that any suspicions were merely the tragic result of stress, trauma, and exhaustion. But Kat, armed with the chilling truth and her own unshakable resolve, proved to be entirely immune to Hayley's toxic charms. She saw right through the sickeningly sweet facade, recognizing the desperate, calculating maneuvers of a woman terrified of being exposed to the world. When Hayley realized that her attempts at manipulation were failing miserably, that Kat was an impenetrable fortress of suspicion, she rapidly shifted her strategy to something far more insidious, calculated, and profoundly dangerous. If she could not charm Kat into submission, she would systematically isolate her, cutting her off from the very support system that gave her strength and protection. Hayley began a highly coordinated, stealthy campaign to drive a massive wedge between Kat and the rest of the alliance. She subtly manipulated schedules, planted tiny seeds of doubt regarding Kat's mental state, and engineered complex situations designed to make Kat appear erratic, paranoid, or overly aggressive to the others. Hayley understood with terrifying clarity that a united front was her absolute greatest enemy. If she could successfully isolate Kat, severing her vital connections to Chelsea, Naomi, and Jacob, she could easily discredit any evidence Kat managed to bring forward. It is a classic, ruthless tactic of psychological warfare, designed to leave Kat standing entirely alone, deeply vulnerable, and completely defenseless against Hayley's inevitable, devastating counterattack. The most tragic and terrifying aspect of this rapidly escalating conflict is Kat's profound, dangerous ignorance of her true position on the chessboard. As she meticulously gathers her evidence and plans her ultimate confrontation, Kat operates under the deadly, foolish illusion that she is the invisible hunter, silently stalking her prey from the safety of the shadows. She has absolutely no idea that her possession of that chilling evidence has already transformed her into Hayley's primary, most critical target. Hayley is watching Kat's every single move with the cold, unblinking intensity of a venomous viper preparing to strike. This silent, brutal psychological war between the two women has officially reached a point of absolute no return, and if Kat does not quickly awaken to the sheer, lethal magnitude of the danger she is currently in, she may end up paying the ultimate, devastating price for her relentless pursuit of the truth.